And would you believe it? We are back for episode 12.
12? Wow. Aren't we doing well? Good evening, hello, good morning. Oh, it's actually morning, it's already past midnight. This week we've got Amuse Bouche's Listeria. Starter is the youths of today. Main course is kitchen design and layout. And the dessert, we've got the chef's special.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that one because that's mine.
I look forward to it equally.
Amuse Bouche.
Hit me with it, Listeria.
So there's been a mass outbreak, or at least we're heading that way.
Right.
5 deaths.
Ooh.
But it's made the news.
It's into double figures then. Depending on how many hands you... If you're from Camborne, you've only got 2 fingers a hand. You're into double figures.
So obviously there's panic going on in the news about this. 5 people out of 70 million. But, you know, we've got to write about something. And we're going to need to talk about something. So let's just go with the fact that we're all doomed.
Good.
So Listeria, what do you know about it?
Well, it's a bacteria, isn't it?
It's a bacteria.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I mean, the EHO specific parts of the podcast are yet to come, but Listeria is a killer. Yeah, it generally comes from unpasteurized milk, I think.
We'll quiz the EHO when we eventually get one on.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but you haven't got a fucking clue. It comes from milk, I think, that hasn't been pasteurized properly, and yeah, it's generally that's where it's found. It's a bit like E. coli. It's one of those. It's not overly prevalent, but when you do get it, you need to kill it, otherwise it causes problems.
Yeah, and we do generally have a tolerance for it in small doses. It's just
if it's in a big dose.
Yeah.
What's causing it? What's the product?
Ice cream.
Oh well, there you are. I knew it. It's things that you don't necessarily... Can you turn off the oscillating light? Because it's doing my head in already. I know I've only recently started and we've been sat here and you've done 7 takes just to get to hello, we're on episode 12, but the oscillating light is doing my head in. Can you turn it off?
It's a non-dimmable bulb.
Turn it off then. This one's on behind me.
Dimmable switch.
Right, we'll sort it out.
Well, I haven't got any bulbs and they cost about 50 quid now.
Just turn it off.
How's that?
Right, that's so much better.
You're like a silhouette now.
I have to see you as much as well. Yeah. So, because that's the thing with Listeria, etc. They're the ones that are like, you don't think about it because it comes in a cold dessert and it's supply chain when you get stuff from a big factory and they haven't cleaned down properly and there's a bit of cow's blood or something that's been spilt in there. Because then it's, well, I don't know if it's in ice cream, have they churned it properly? Obviously it wasn't pasteurized milk or whatever, it's come from somewhere along there and it's just in it. And then that's the problem with something you don't reheat. For those of you that don't understand chef world, food world, whatever, you have what you would call a HACCP, which is a flow as to how you're preparing a dish, something like an ice cream or a mousse or a chilled chocolate dessert, whatever you said it was that was the thing. Your only point to make sure that product is safe is in the production, because if it's handled correctly in the first instance and it is made safe, then and it's then put into a sealed thing, I mean, ice cream's in a tub or a mousse in a pot, whatever, it's then safe. Happy days, you're then safe. It's not going to have any Listeria. Listeria can't get in it after that point. But equally, if you haven't made it safe, you've got no chance to... You're not heating it again. You're not going through any other processes. So the critical control point at that point is it safe when you've put the ice cream in a tub and tubbed it up? You know, people say like high risk foods, and like people would say, oh, you know, raw meat is a high risk food. Well, it's not, because raw meat you're going to cook. So therefore, it's actually a low risk food because of the fact that you're going to cook it again. If it's cooked meat, it's a high risk food because at that stage, you know, you're not going to cook it anymore. So at that point, you need to make sure that it's safe to go, because that's where things like cross-contamination, where you say you've got your raw chicken and then you get a bit of chicken on your cooked chicken, which is stored in your same fridge because you haven't got a big enough fridge where you work or whatever, that's when it becomes a high risk, because if you're reheating that chicken, doesn't matter. But if you're serving that chicken on, let's say you're serving your chicken on a Caesar salad and you've cooked it in the morning, you know, you've killed all the bacteria, great, your chicken's now safe to eat. But then it comes down to how you're storing it. You know, but the Listeria is more of a something's gone wrong in the manufacturing process, which is what's caused that to be unsafe. You know, if you've made it safe to eat, unless you contaminate it with something that isn't safe to eat, it's not going to become unsafe to eat.
This is an amuse-bouche, though.
So it's supposed to be amusing.
It's supposed to be a light, amusing story.
Oh,
the only thing I could find out
is
that there's 5 deaths between the ages of 68 and 89. Now, I can't find any humour in that.
I'll tell you what could be a real tedious link to it being amusing is that on this sad occasion where we're discussing the fact that poor people in hospital have died of eating chocolate, ice cream, whatever, is that Eddie Jordan's died. Nothing. Right.
I don't watch Formula One. Tell me, who is he?
He's Eddie Jordan. He's a very entertaining. Well, he's dead now. He died this morning apparently, or yesterday morning. Very entertaining chap. He owned a team back in the 90s. He introduced Michael Schumacher to the world. His team was very good. I'm going to sound like a dick if I get this wrong on national radio while I don't actually know my facts. Damon Hill won his Formula One World Championship with the Jordan team. And Heinz-Harald Frentzen raced for them. Ralf Schumacher raced for them. But he had a team. He then went on to be one of the Channel 4 pundits, or ITV, or whichever channel it was that had it at the time. He fell out with them because he was a bit outspoken, because he would never stand for the bullshit, and he was a bit outspoken, so eventually they sort of sidelined him and got him off the screens.
Oh, they pushed him away.
Yeah. But...
bring your microphone up a bit. You're like very... You're doing all that.
I look.
You're doing all that with every word. But.
Am I?
Yeah, can you just pull it away just a little... See that? When I say pull it away...
Pull it away?
That's a little bit better.
I just want to make your life hard when you have to do the editing. That's my main aim in all of this.
It takes hours and hours.
Get the expensive piece of kit you wanted. Anyway, but he's a very entertaining chap, and I once read his autobiography, and it was very interesting because it said about he's this Irish guy. He was an absolute blagger. But the more, as I get older and the more I hear about different stories of people and business and things, everyone's a blagger, aren't they? Yeah. But he was saying about like when he was doing a deal with someone, he didn't have any money, and he was like, I spent the last money I had hiring the most expensive suit the money could buy just to go into a meeting, so I looked super successful. And it all worked out, and it was fine, and he was super successful, and it was fine. But very much the blag artist of the F1 world. But the amusing thing, 2 amusing things actually. One, went to see him when we went to the Italian Grand Prix in 2014-ish. His band were playing there. We went to see his band. It was great, and we were having a good old sing-song with his band and things. His band finished, and then we went back to the campsite where we were sleeping, and some guy had a little karaoke set up, and we went there and we started joining in, singing the karaoke, and I was pissed and singing karaoke. And there was some Latvians or Lithuanians, can't remember, who thought I had an amazing singing voice.
Oh, of course they did.
They set up the official, let's go with Latvian. They set up they said, we're the founders of the official Latvian Darren Millgate Supporters Club, and advertise you everywhere, and you're going to go on X Factor and all that crap. All sorts of shit. The police turned up, so we're there in Italy. The police turned up, kicked right off, because we'd really upset the Germans. I mean, like, really upset the Germans. Sort of 1940s upset the Germans.
Oh, okay, the goose-stepping.
They were not happy. And the police set up and said, look, we can either arrest you or you can just shut up and watch the race tomorrow and it'll be fine. So that was an amusing Eddie Jordan-related story because we'd been watching his band, then we did that. And then the more amusing one was that when we went to the Hungarian Grand Prix, in a year, some point, 2013-ish, I think. At the end of the race, we all invaded onto the circuit and things. And Eddie Jordan was doing like the after bit. So the main coverage on the television finished, and then they had like an after bit where they'd all chat crap. And my claim to fame with Eddie Jordan, I didn't speak to him, but he spoke to me. Right. We had a big Cornish flag on a long extendable pole, and we were on the pit straight, and they were interviewing him and other team bosses and so on. And I was basically banging him on the head with a Cornish flag. And in his best Irish accent, which was recorded on the TV, so I don't know where it is, I'll try and find it. But he just went, will you feck off? It's beautiful. So, yeah, that was funny, and he was a very entertaining chap, and obviously Formula One's a big love of mine, and it's Sadly, he's died, so I'm sure there'll be lots of stuff on the race this weekend.
They're going to do that. I know exactly what they're going to do.
Right.
They're going to do exactly what they do with everyone else they've sidelined. They'll push them away. They'll have little meetings. Oh, we need to get rid of this leg. You know, his mouth is not singing from the hymn sheet that we require. And, you know, they've probably already... They've got 6 HR departments, you know, all women, of course, all coming together to bitch and moan, saying, no, they can only discuss it in that and in these ways and not to offend anyone, as if we're all Roman emperors who can never be offended. You know, how dare you? I mean, the ego of some people who can never be offended is ridiculous. What gives you the right? Unbelievable. Who have sidelined him, pushed him out. And, of course, he's obviously noticed at the time. And all of a sudden they're going to do big tributes. Oh, you know, always just a well-respected, wonderful human being. Sorry, you were stabbing knives in his back. And I've only found this out 5 minutes ago and I'm already flaring up.
There was, I did see an article. I didn't even know about it this morning. And then Paul tells me in work. How I didn't know, I'm not really sure. It passed me by. Probably because I had a mad 3-year-old to look after this morning. But he was saying about it and I Googled it. And the first description I saw of it online was saying like the last... Because F1 used to have that sort of rock and roll. It was like, you know, they drink champagne and tell them, like James Hunt, who, you know, you probably don't know him, but British driver, and his slogan that was written on his overalls was "Sex, the breakfast of champions," and it was like, you know, he'd be smoking 50 Marlboro Red a day and getting pissed and all the rest of it, and it was that very much rock and roll lifestyle of like 1 in 5 drivers dies every season. It was a very glamorous rock and rolly kind of lifestyle. Whereas then it moved more towards the anoraks, which is what you have now. Now you've got your boring anoraks, but that Eddie Jordan was the last rock and roll team boss.
No, I get where you're going with that, yeah.
A bit like the chefing world, really, because you had those mavericks and the rock and roll chefs and stuff, and it was all...
Smoking, drinking,
it was cool
womanizing.
to be that.
Yeah.
But it's not anymore, is it? Now it's like, you know, you have to... Everybody just wants you to be the perfect professional. You know, look at Gino D'Acampo, Greg Wallace, people we've discussed.
Yeah.
You know, but when you look back on what used to be, that was, and I suppose that's half the problem, Nick, because you've got those half the world that idolise that kind of person and think that's brilliant. And then in the world we have now, that everyone's like, oh, I can't believe that happens, or that person, like you say, they're offended by this or that or the other, which is exactly the same with the F1. You know, you used to turn up at the races and, you know, there was a huge thing about banning grid girls because it was derogatory to women that you had women dressed in not very much who would stand there and hold up pit boards for the different numbers for the different drivers and stuff. And it was like, you know, because obviously I watch more than just F1 in different race series. In some race series, they were like, well, you know, we've now said we're not doing it. Other ones said, well, we are going to carry on doing it. And then you got into domesticated arguments between different motorsport factions. I can't believe that the DTM series still has pit girls or grid girls. It's disgusting. The British Touring Car Championship doesn't have grid girls anymore. And then the Germans were going, well, we're really highly paid. It's a really good thing. And we're advertising for whatever. And it's just advertising and sex sells. Oh my God, you can't say that. It's terrible. And it's just it's an argument, isn't it?
I remember seeing it on the BBC and all of that. You'd have these just... who are those women that Greg Wallace described?
Karens?
No. Middle-aged?
Entitled middle class.
Whinging cows. Yeah. They were the ones complaining. Yeah. And they were supposed to be, you know, highly acclaimed feminists. But only, of course, those that sing off their hymn sheet. The rest of the women who do not sing off their hymn sheet are to have their jobs destroyed, you know, and cast out into the unemployment. It winds me up. Why can't you just leave everyone alone? They're not doing anything. In fact, most of the anoraks on the side are staring at the cars. You know, it's like the fat guy. If you put a bath of baked beans down, you put a grid girl in there, he'll probably push her out and grab a spoon. You know, the anoraks are there for the cars, but there's just polish on the side of it.
Well, there was a thing I was reading actually a couple of days ago about. So there's a feeder series in the Formula One, which is a female-only sport now, and it's like, you know, there's been a lot of talk for a long time about women getting into F1 and stuff, and it's like there's people saying, you know, it's fine, you can do it. There's Danica Patrick, who is a female racing driver she's getting on a bit now. She's now more of a pundit, whatever. But she said a woman wouldn't make it in F1 because of the amount of stress that you're under in F1. It's too much for a woman to deal with. So everybody hates her now. She is.
I bet that went down well.
Because she's a woman, so head up. Everyone hates her for it. But then there was an interview with the woman who won the female feeder series last season, and she was basically saying, you can argue all that, whatever you want. Said the fact of the matter is that about 1% of people that take karting seriously are female, or less than 1%. And I said, well, if you say the top 20 drivers in the world get to F1, because there's 20 drivers in F1, then you need to have at least, let's say that at least 5% of people that get into karting or take on motorsport seriously would have to be female for one of them to be in the top 20, because it's more likely, because if you've only got 1% of people that take up karting being female, then you're less likely to get the other. So it's like, well, what you actually do is campaign at the bottom end and get more people involved in it in the first place. But
why don't they do it? Why is it always the campaigns? We need to get more women doing it. Why don't you do it? If it's so important for you, put one foot in front of the other and go for it. But they won't. They're like, because they're lazy. So they just sit there and say, oh, no. Other women need to go through all the stresses of it. I mean, to be fair, I can't see
why. I've done it in football. And, like now...
Let me watch that.
Yeah, because it's great. Because I love winding people up, as you know. And like... It's great.
We're such a pair of pigs on this. So.
Brilliant. The English women's team just went out and just smashed it and won whatever they won. And it's like, did we win a World Cup or a Euros? Whatever we won.
I don't watch.
I say we.
So.
I don't make myself a part of it, but let's be part of it for this point. But you always go, oh God, heartbreak every 4 years or 2 years when you play a championship. But it was going to be our year. It was coming home. It's just crap every time. And then the women come out and say, oh, well, they've absolutely smashed it. Well, at least we could be proud of the women who play football, because at least the English women are actually good at football. The English blokes, crap. English women, brilliant. They just go out and win it. So, I think we've kind of laboured the point here from Listeria, mind you.
Yeah, we have. But I don't see why more women don't go into Formula One, because there's no parking required. And there's no one running out in front of you to let go of the steering wheel. So, it's fine. Or no cuddly puppies to like steer around and crash the car. It's fine. I understand.
That's the guy who steers out of the way of a rabbit and nearly killed me.
I stand with my fellow girls. Thou shalt not kill an innocent animal on the road, even if it means our lives.
Good.
But yeah, anyway, so this one's gone on. Next.
Listeria. So, starter. CheckON. Which is skirting around the issue of this, because it probably needs more abuse. But the youth of today. Just because it came up in conversation earlier today.
I was thinking about on the drive home about that start when we discussed it.
Before or after I overtook you?
Yes, you overtook me. Congratulations. Why didn't you go in there and soap up your balls for a while? All right, you overtook, and then you had to undertake it. You had to back take. No.
I had to let you back past me. I wasn't myself in coming around here to record the podcast. I had to do a double lap round the roundabout, like a tit. Yeah,
I was trying to do that in a one word.
Talking of which, I owe an apology. Raison d'etre is a thing, apparently.
Yeah, see? I love this. Olive had a go at me in the bed. Have a go at me. I'm becoming her now. I'm just overstating the... she gave me a little... She was like, you just sound really thick. You sound really thick.
Well, that's... We're not debating that. You did sound thick.
Yeah.
But then you didn't have the conviction to say, no, raison d'etre is a thing.
It's not a word that I ever use. I've just heard it once or twice. And then she goes, well, you just sound really stupid. I was like, sorry, I just Googled it. And obviously it does exist. I'm like, well, you didn't know and Darren didn't know. So who's really the thick one here?
I mean, you've got a French stepmother. I haven't.
Restaurant is used in Britain. It's a French word. I don't need a French stepmother.
Raison d'etre is not English.
Well, neither is restaurant.
Yes, it is.
It's a French word.
It's in the English dictionary. It's an English word.
Raison d'etre is not in the
It won't be in the English dictionary, no, because it's French.
So is that what I just said? And there's many other French words. I
was giving you an apology. Take it back.
Sod your apology. I don't want your stupid apology.
Right,
I haven't finished crushing you yet.
You were talking in the car.
What's the word where you think you've done something before but you actually haven't? It seems familiar.
Déjà vu?
Déjà vu. That's French. That's in the English dictionary.
Is it?
Déjà vu. Does that sound English to you?
Is it in the English dictionary? Well, you've said it is, so you better be sure about that.
Well, I'll be getting ready for my apology next week. Anyway, let's get on. So the youth of today.
You were thinking about it in the car?
Oh, yes. Well, I was thinking about it on the way down, and I was trying to remember what I was like. And I am bitching and moaning about the youth of today. I can't be dealing with the endless complaining, whinging, emotion. And this is from the guys. The soft approach, the pessimism, cannot win because I give the most minimal effort. Oh, it was too hard. I sure I wasn't like that. But then I was trying to think back. What was I like in 2001 when I was 17 or whatever? I can't remember. I can't remember being that age. I don't know.
No, it's hard.
Was I?
Well, it is hard. But I think the conversation we were having earlier that started us talking about it was that Archie was he didn't want staff dinner because he was calorie counting because he's got to get in shape and he's going to the gym. And he's a fairly stocky guy. He's quite strong, like chiseled jawline.
Oh, Archie.
Attractive, if anything.
Yeah, he brings out the gayness in us.
But like, why? Oh, I've got to go to the gym and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And it's like it's symbolic, I suppose, that the fact that the place we used to go to every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday night, most nights of the week.
Nightclub.
L2 nightclub. And people just go out, you get smashed, you go to L2, you have a dance, whatever, you come home. It's not lost on me the irony that it's now a 24-hour gym and that young people just go to the gym. Like gyms weren't a thing. Like my dad, bless his heart, he bitches and moans about a gym. It's like the only reason you need to go to the gym is if you haven't done enough work. Like if you actually do a physical job, which I know that has changed because obviously the workforce is now different from what the workforce used to be. Go back 100 years, nobody's on a computer as a job. Now a lot of people are.
No, they were all going around in blackface because they were down in the mines.
Yeah, but they had a physical job, so therefore they were tired. They didn't need to go to the gym. I get that that's evolved because you need to work out. Or you need to do. If all you do in your job is work from home and look at a screen all day, then you need to go and do something. But whether it's a gym, do you want to go and see lots of people looking at themselves in the mirror, or do you want to actually just go and...
Well, I've never been to a gym, so...
You've never been to a gym?
I've never been into a gym.
That's a lie.
That's not a lie.
It is.
I've never gone to a gym.
You went to the gym in the Green Lawns Hotel with me about 15 years ago.
What did I do in that?
Well, you said, there's this gym in Falmouth I've been going to. So me and you went there.
No,
we went into
the swimming pool and I walked past the gym and looked at it.
No, we went on the
That means I had more experience than you.
We got bollocking because we were sat in it when we were wet out of the swimming pool.
How did we get on?
All right, you've not been to a gym very much.
Not very much.
Right. No, but yeah. And there's the pressure, and social media is obviously a part of it. It's the pressure of, I've got to be this, I've got to look at this, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. But they've got no get up and go, have they? No. The work ethic.
Yeah.
Shocking. Like the excuses or someone to blame for everything. Like there's no accountability or just like, we always got to be like, and respect your elders or do this or do that. And now they're just like,
Well, times have changed a little bit. So technology is right in your hands, where when I was really young, we had a Commodore 64 that just never worked because you'd spend 40 minutes waiting for this tape to load. And then all of a sudden it's just error or whatever it would say, we're going out. And you go build a camp somewhere.
Is that to do with, that could be to do with many things, couldn't it? They're talking about knife crime the other week on the podcast and then talking to, was there 3 or 4 people in this conversation? I can't remember. But a couple of days after I was talking to multiple people about that and they were talking about knife crime and stuff. And no, there was 3 of us. There was 3 of us having the conversation and the other 2 people I was having a conversation with both said, yeah, both of them carried knives. One was male, one was female. The male, he said, well, I'm not a very big guy, so yeah, I carry a knife. I said, what do you mean carry a knife? Well, I carry a knife in case someone tries to fuck me on the way home. Bizarre. And then the other one was female, and she said, yeah, I carry a knife because I'm a young female, and if someone attacks me, I need to defend myself. So that blew my mind, the fact that 2 people who, I'd seen day in, day out, both of us carry knives. It's like, it's bizarre. But then, I suppose that's only escalation, isn't it?
Is it because they're afraid of confrontation?
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah.
If somebody comes up and starts with them, they're scared of it. They don't know how to react to a knife. It's the only way to stop. Is to scare the person away from them.
The thing I was thinking today about the fact that I saw some asparagus advertised today. First, the British season asparagus.
We're coming away from all these subjects from, I don't know if we're cutting that.
No, it's fine.
There's a link. Nice asparagus.
No, there's a link. There's a link because there's asparagus. It's £4.50 a bunch for British asparagus. Lovely, whatever. And then I thought about the Peruvian asparagus. Now, I did a whole bit of work back when I worked at Bed Steps because Marks and Spencer's got the guys, the Chin family of Ross and Y, to reverse season asparagus so that it wouldn't grow in spring, early summer. It would grow at the end of summer, etc. And I had to do loads of work on it, and I found out lots about Peruvian asparagus and how water's a massive problem in Peru because most of it goes to growing crops. And here we are in the UK or Europe or the rest of the world just eating lots of asparagus. Meanwhile, many people are dying. My point being that, like, we don't connect to everything's so disconnected in the world now. No one's connected to anything. So, like, you know, the meat eating thing. It's like in years gone by, if you had your own small holding, you know, you had a pet pig when you were a kid.
Yeah, you'd see it.
We had pet chickens and pet ducks.
Yeah, I had a potbelly pig.
If you're like, okay, I've got to go outside and kill the pig. It's a harder decision to have a bacon sandwich than just buying a plastic bag from Tesco.
You think about it.
If you realise that people in Peru can't feed, you know, everyone's always, especially recently since COVID, everyone's like, oh, just be kind, just be kind. And people are kind in their little circle, but they don't look outside of it. And it's like, be kind. But if I'll have some asparagus, that'd be nice. But you don't realise that, you know, people are going without water because, you know, the big water companies are just like, oh, we need more water for asparagus, turn it off for that village. Well, never mind that village.
They do, don't they?
They've all got disease and they're all going to die because they haven't got any fresh water. But we need to sell some more asparagus, and it's owned by these mass people, which I moaned at you before about it. But like one of my things with the drug industry, it's like everywhere. Like if you want to take a drug, crack on. It ain't very good for your mental health, in my personal opinion. It's going to give you issues. But like all the people that are like, oh, you know, but it's cool and it's zen. And it's
the London kids with their cocaine.
Well, every person from where that drug's produced.
Yeah, where does it come from? From
the supply chain right up until you've stuck it up your nose or injected it or smoked it or whatever. It's like if someone's growing a bit of weed in their garage and they're smoking their plant in their garage, I've got less of an issue with that because it's like, you're not hurting anyone. And it's like, I remember, I'm on a tangent of a tangent of a tangent here. I remember going to a festival in 2005-ish with old Mikey T. And it was when legal highs were a big thing. And it was like, you could get legal speed, legal ecstasy, legal cocaine. And it was like, dude, look, legal drug shop. Right. Let's go and try some.
Yeah.
I'll have some. Well, why not? It's legal. If you think I give a monkey's ass about the legalities of this, there's nothing to do with legality. It's like, I break the speed limit. Don't listen. If there's any police listening, I'd never break the speed limit. I break the speed limit every single day, and I do other things that probably break the law.
Yeah.
It's not what the government has said is legal. It's my own moral compass on it. And the drug thing, it's like, you know, all these drugs gangs and people that, you know, I'm not like the matter of fact that used to be on your DVDs that piracy funds organised crime. But the drug he directly does, because it's like, you know, all you see like the South Americans, like Bolivia and stuff, people just come and burn them down. And it's like, we're going to grow cocaine here, so we're going to kill all your family. And then all the problems and all the rapes, the murders, all the rest of it, all the problems elsewhere in the world.
As a result of those plants being grown.
As a result of that. And then when it gets to the UK, and then it's like, you've got young people who are young and impressionable. Oh, here, have some nice new Nike trainers and all the rest of it. And they come from an impoverished background and it's shit. And it's like, here, if you do this and you can run these drugs and you can have a knife and you can be cool, we'll protect you, or you're one of our gang, or we'll give you a gun and stuff. And it's like, it just grows them into that problem that, like, it's a terrible situation for them. And it's like,
and nearly all of them don't have a dad.
Every single time you hear on the news, like, there's been a fatal stabbing or there's been guns or whatever, it's like, it's not that the actual drug is the problem in that. It's not like cocaine is the problem that has ended up with a guy getting stabbed or shot or whatever. And it is to do with the fact that it's illegal. Because it's illegal, therefore it has to be underground and therefore it's a bit dodgy. But therefore, debate that all you want, whether it should be legal or shouldn't be, but it is illegal. And because it is illegal, it is therefore done behind closed doors. is therefore affecting people and it's dodgy. And people are like, I don't understand. All these people that are like, oh, struggle with mental health, or I've got this, or I've got that, or all the problems that they have in their life. But it's like, but yet there's no chance that drug, that cocaine you've taken, there is zero chance that along its path from where it was grown to you, that someone hasn't had their head kicked in or their teeth smashed out or their daughter raped or something horrific that's come to you. And it's like, but they can just detach from it. And it's like the meat eater thing. Like, I think that's where your vegans are like, oh, they feel the pain for the animal and stuff. Whereas your average Joe in the street just goes and buys a battery hen and they couldn't give a shit. They just like chicken. And that detaching ourselves from...
It's the same with my iPhone. I mean, where does that come from? Some Chinese sweatshop where the workers... And I've been trying to get my head around it because people just say, it's terrible. They kill themselves up when they throw themselves out of windows. And then they put the nets out there, didn't they? Yeah. What kind of a factory puts nets outside their window to catch the workers when they try and kill themselves on such a scale? But then I was trying to get my head around that. What goes on there to make someone want to make so many of them want to do it? Are they being lashed? Are they just working 19 hours without a break, endlessly putting together the same component? I mean, it's a communist country, isn't it? So you're told where to work.
Yeah. Look at Temu. It's like, shop like a billionaire, and everyone loves going on to... there's crap. You would say, no, we need some more Sharpies in the kitchen. Can't see me that, 10p. Yeah. But if you're paying that price for something, there's exploitation somewhere and someone's having a terrible time. I mean, the peeled garlic, God, this is a tangent. What was even the subject? The peeled garlic.
Yeah, bear with us, people.
The peeled garlic that, this is for any chefs listening, you get the 1 kilo bags of vat peeled garlic that you get from any of your veg suppliers.
Yeah.
Open it up, look at those peeled garlic cloves, and look at the teeth marks, because I don't know if you've seen the programs online, but they I can't remember what it's called now, the northeast corner of China where all the Muslims go to the concentration camps, they grow a shit ton of tomatoes, garlic, etc. But like in these concentration camps, they've got them all there chewing, so they're just chewing garlic, they chew it, they spit it out, and then if you look in those bags of vat peeled garlic, it is full of teeth marks from all these guys who've been chewing all this garlic and spitting it into a thing.
Is that real?
Yep. There's a documentary on it on the Netflix thing called something about terrible foods and where it's from. But there was
peeled garlic cloves are
they're chewed up
Chinaman's teeth.
Yeah.
Chewing out the thing.
There's teeth
they
marks
still haven't invented a potato rumbler version for garlic.
Why do it when you can just imprison some Muslims and get them to it for free? And lash them alongside.
That is horrendous.
Yeah, because when COVID hit, we couldn't get them, and you could get the peeled garlic from Spain, and everyone was bitching in the kitchen. It's got a bit of skin left on it. It hasn't got any teeth marks in there, is it?
That's blown my mind a little bit.
Anthony Bourdain, and there's a Kitchen Confidential. It says if you can't be bothered to peel your own garlic, or he was slagging off basically the blitzed up garlic you can get in paste or in tubes or in vinegar or whatever.
Which doesn't taste the same.
No. He said if you can't be bothered to peel a clove of garlic, then you don't deserve to eat garlic because it's a lovely flavour and all the rest of it. But that stuff in the vat packs, it's got lots of teeth marks in it. But all of this just means that then the youths are just like,
they don't care. Yeah,
they don't know. There's so much crap going on. I suppose the world's doomed and we're all doomed really. So then they just become useless.
So is it right then what they're doing in America? America first. We're going to try and, because I was speaking to Lee when he came over to visit, and he said it's really bad over there.
Who's Lee?
Lee Penaluna.
All
right. He came over for his mum's funeral, but he's gone back in. And I asked him, like, what's it like over there now? And he goes, it's really bad because the manufacturing is so destroyed over there. They don't really show it, obviously, on the programs and the American news and all that because they have their own agenda. But he goes, normal life in there is horrendous because so much of the manufacturing shut down and all that. It's all coming from China. He goes, virtually everything you find around in America now is just coming from China. All the American businesses have set up with contracts to China work sweat houses.
Everything in the world comes from China.
And obviously that's why... I mean, Trump obviously want to get in power, but someone's whispered in his ear, you need to do something to bring back American manufacturing. But of course, that's the high labor cost that goes with it because no one's going to work for peanuts. So now he's tariffing the hell out of China China goods and all that, which I'm wondering how that's going to how that's going to affect it, because China's whole economy is built on exports.
Yeah.
So if everyone starts paying tariffs on their goods and making it at home, does that mean their economy would collapse?
It would if people stop buying. It'll hurt them, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't understand enough about world economics, but
yeah, always care about where things come from.
I understand to a point why the youth of today struggle. You know, they had the COVID thing, and that was obviously a problem for if you were at certain school ages and stuff. And it seemed like, you know, saying last week about mental health and how, you know, PIP is up billions of pounds because all these people are suffering with anxiety and stuff. But it's a sense of purpose, isn't it? Me and the good lady Olivia were discussing earlier about, she was watching some horrific program. I don't know why people watch these weird-ass programs on telly, but anyway, she was watching about ISIS and stuff.
Yes, let's get some clarification for the people listening. It's Stacey Dooley's Adventures or whatever it's called.
Looks terrible. But like...
Yeah,
but I think
a British girl going around judging everybody else. Sorry, we've got our own problems here. I don't know how you've got that high moral compass. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you do it like that over here. It's like, really? What, we don't have our own sex offenders over here? We don't have mass gang rapers and all that? Yeah, we've got it all. And we've got the knife crimers as well, while you're judging the Americans with their guns. We've got our own stuff.
But it made me, talking to Olivia, it's like, you know, people that live and you go, look at the state of like, where they were living, and they were on the border of somewhere else, where, like, you know, the husbands have all been taken on this, and the other. It's like, you know, they're always on edge because like, shit, we've got this, and the other. They've got all this stuff going on, so they're unlikely to be struggling with anything else because they've got so much shit going on. Whereas in this country, like, you know, it's so. Someone will cancel me for this or shout at me or whatever, but it's like we've got it so easy in this country that like you can get the benefits, you can do this, you can do that, and it's like we're in about the safest place you're going to be in the world. It's like, you know, we don't really have major disease or...
We don't have starving people.
We don't have any particularly horrific weather. Like, It rains a lot. We don't have major earthquakes. We don't have huge forest fires. We don't have mass shootings. We don't have... We've got it pretty cushy. And I think that's half the problem of, you know, because deep inside, underneath it all, there's an animal instinct inside us because we are animals that actually we need that sort of push for survival because otherwise you just become complacent.
You get comfortable, don't you?
And I think that's a lot of the problem, especially with the youth, because they've got nothing to
worry about.
You don't need it. You don't need to push for anything because everything's there. Whatever you want, yeah, it's there. Just do it, you know.
Yeah, everybody can go to university now, whereas it used to just people who were intelligent, but now everybody can go with money.
Yeah.
It's all about money now. Even the socialists go there, which is quite strange considering it's education by money. It's putting myself in a better position than my neighbour, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, we've got, it's
just opening a beer.
I didn't get offered one. I'll get one over. But I think that's half the thing. Don't worry, I'll get a beer too. It's just that fact that it's so cushy that then that leads to not complacency, but it kind of, you know, you don't need to fight for anything because if you, like, yeah, if you want to push, if you want to excel yourself, if you want to do well, then you have to push slightly. But if you're just happy with the status quo and just being an average Joe, like, they couldn't believe...
being an average Joe.
You like it?
I love being average. I don't understand why you get all these plastic people on the TV going, "Oh, this person's average." What's
no, but you strive. You strive for better than, you know, like
a little bit better.
Yeah, but you don't want to just sit there and just exist. It's like you're going to die soon, probably. I reckon you're more than halfway through your life.
Are you sure about that? Because your knees are packing up.
You're 41, mate. You're not reaching 80. Like you're more than halfway gone. But you want to do something before then, but. I don't know, a lot of the youngsters are just... And I think that the environment we live in, where it's just so bloody cush, I think what we need... I mean, depending on what happens on the eastern side of Europe anyway, I might end up with people getting forced into forces. But what we need is national service, which is a choice. Don't look at me like that. You get a choice, right? In Darren's perfect world.
God, you're becoming a bigger dictator than I am.
No, because you've got to do a choice. You can either, and I don't know how long it is, let's say it's a year and it's when you're 18. That'll do. Just pluck it out somewhere. You do a year in either the armed forces, or you do a year of like charity, aid work, whatever, and you just go to one of the most impoverished places on the planet and just go like, just see what they live in shite, like, but they're happy enough. Do you know what? They haven't got to struggle. Well, they do struggle, but they haven't got, they just get on with it. You know what I mean? And like actually go and see that, and then come back to the UK and go, oh, it's just pretty cushy here.
Yeah, but live like they do.
Yeah, exactly.
Live like they
live
do.
with them and live like that and get involved with it and understand it and things.
And not the usual charity stuff where you're protected in a holding by security and all that. No, live exactly like they're living.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the fear as well.
Yeah. It would help. And it would give them a sense of purpose. You know, like if you say to somebody that being in a war or being in a situation which is worse, where you're fighting for something, not necessarily physically fighting, but emotionally fighting, whatever you're scared of, it heightens everything. You push harder and you do a better job.
All right.
I'll tell you what, we've rattled on here. For a pre-starter and a starter, we've gone a bit deep, a bit dark and a bit hard, and we haven't even got to the main course yet.
All right, let's have a quick main course, all right?
Okay. Main course then?
Main course. What? I thought it was you that was doing the main.
You've got to talk when I've got a mouthful of beer. You can see I'm drinking the beer.
All right,
so... I've drank the beer now, you can shut up.
All right, right. Hang on. Right, main course.
So this is far less it's highly opinionated, but it's far less emotionally opinionated. Kitchen design and layout.
Oh, there's been some horrific ones. Horrific. Where you look at it, especially even if they've only been done in 5 years, you're thinking, who designed it? I remember when we were at, what the hell? It's gone. I can mention it. Bustovers in Truro.
Yep.
When we were there, and then that guy came up to us, and he said, oh, I was the one who built this kitchen. And I swear that caveman DNA came. I wanted to jump over the pass and strangle him. or just knock on his head like, you know, is there anything inside your head? Because how the hell did you come up with these things? What are they called? The walls. Which walls. Wall are you talking about? Between the customer alleyway going into the back door and the kitchen. Yeah, the partition. They're not even removable with a tiny gap for us to get out of there. How do you pull out the ovens and everything to do and disassemble? It didn't even make it disassemble.
No, it was quite tricky. However, I would say that as a functioning kitchen to work in, I quite enjoyed that kitchen to work in. Oh. Pass behind you, stove the other side, quick and easy.
Cramped.
It was cramped, but it was functional.
All right.
But for example, I first was talking to them about a job there and stuff, and they were, we're designing a new kitchen. Okay, fine. And I didn't accept the job. And then about 2 years later, I ended up in conversation with them again, and I did accept the job, and I went there. And I thought, oh my God, I wish I'd have taken the job the first time around, because I now wouldn't have to deal with this monstrosity of a kitchen that was just... And the owners never understand. They go, well, you've got everything you need. No, we haven't. You've got a big-ass pizza oven, great. You've got nothing else. And 5 years I spent there campaigning, can we just get... If you want this stuff, just get us a kitchen that functions. And then just after I left, obviously they got the new kitchen in. And it was fine. But flow in kitchens, like obviously we're getting our unit in the next few weeks. Can't wait, really exciting. Buying kit for it, getting it all, planning it, looking at what's going to go where. But like taking that time to actually design stuff properly with a thought and a flow and a process. And I think how many people like... there's design companies you can work with, and they're like, we'll come and they'll design stuff. Problem is with that, they come in and they say, this is our design, it's going to cost 20 grand because it's got all the top kit in it. And it's like, well, it's not always about that. It's because it doesn't need to be that, but the functionality.
They like to do it modular now, don't they? Everything's tucked into each other and sealed and waterproof, and you can't get any crap in between each section. It's all just...
Which is great till it goes wrong and then you can't clean it.
You can't clean it. That's true.
That's half the... But... where we're temping currently, there's the KPN with the plates with the machine. There's a KPN with the back with the pot wash.
Neither of which makes any sense.
Both terrible, absolutely. And it's like, why? Like you say, Bustovers. Like Bustovers was an issue with where you would put your dirties because everyone's trying to save money, and you don't need a KP for 24 hours a day. You need a KP at certain points a day. So at Bustovers, we'd say to Snake Hips, start 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then we'd go on our split at 3 o'clock. So between 3 and 5, it would just be him in the kitchen. He'd have 2 hours to get through everything.
Yeah.
We'd come back in at 5. We'd start service at 6. It would all be fine. But it would piss him off something special when he'd come in at 3. Stacked everywhere.
Look at the state of it. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be stacked everywhere because there's no point you coming in for 2 hours at lunch, then having a 2 hour break, then coming in again. You might as well just do it. But there wasn't that much space to stack stuff. But let's bear in mind that was quite a small restaurant. But like where we are currently, temping, they've got the space, but badly laid out. And then like stuff comes out of the dishwasher. You go, great, I've got some clean plates. Nowhere to put them. Like nowhere.
Yeah, that's true.
You go, well, where do I put these? So what do? They put it on the dirty section. So there's the racking and the benches that were designed by some design guy that designed the kitchen or guy, girl. Someone's designed that goes, this is where you drop off all the dirties. Brilliant. Then it gets washed. Fine. There's ample space to drop off all the dirties. Brilliant. Lovely. There's nowhere to put the clean stuff. So what do? They put the clean stuff next to where the dirty stuff goes. So now you've got dirty and clean next to each other, which is not only a food hygiene risk, it's a bloody mess. It's chaos. There's nowhere to put anything. It's mental. And then if you do try and take the plates to somewhere else to put them, then you've got to go around a fridge that's in the way because some smart ass has put a fridge right in the walkway. So you've got to walk around the fridge, which, by the way, doesn't work, but it's just a bench. But rather than buy a new bench, they've just kept the
You have to go all the way around the back end of the kitchen, to go all the way round to the front, passing through sections and everything in your way, to go all the way around the pass, to get to the front of this KP area where the restaurant people come in, just to stack up any plates for that side that are over there. It's like you could have just not taken that bench all the way across, a little walkway, so the KP can just walk out through.
Yeah.
But
enclose the whole thing.
This is a design company or some twatty chef that's been brought in. He's been there 6 months. Oh yeah, we've got the budget for a kitchen, but we don't know what we're doing. You're a chef. You're the head chef. You do it. He's either an idiot or they've got a design company who's never worked in a kitchen before.
Yeah, and that's what annoys me. And there's a bench in that kitchen.
Shouldn't you be designing one of these? Couldn't you design?
Design what? Kitchens?
Well, I'm always trying to expand your influence and your. Why can't you just say that? What do you need? What do you need? You just need a pen behind the ear.
Yeah.
A white jacket, a designs jacket with a couple of pens in a pocket there that you'll never use. You've got red on you.
Yeah.
And just drive around in a nice swanky looking car so you look like you're doing well for yourself. That kind of thing. Why not? You can take a space and I can fit this in here and that in there. Why not?
Because
would you like designing kitchens?
I'd love designing kitchens, but they generally design the kitchen then try and sell them about 20 grand off kit. I'm not interested in selling anybody.
Well, don't sell them a kit then.
No interest in me. That's part of doing the whole, something that I will probably do more of is, where we get asked questions. Like I had a meeting with someone this week who would ask me to come in and give my feedback and give them some advice on how we do this or how we do that or how's best to deal with allergens, to deal with sandwiches when we're busy or all this sort of stuff. And doing things like that and helping people. Happy days. I enjoy doing it. But I don't know. There's something in me that the bench. So there's a bench. There was a bench at St Michael's in the kitchen, which when we had lockdown and I got at the kitchen, it was just me there and I was playing around with everything. And there was a bench in the pastry section that I'd never really paid that much attention to, but it wasn't quite like the back right-hand corner of it was probably about 100-degree angle. Never really noticed it that much. It just didn't come quite out straight. Equally, never really gave that much attention, but if you look in the corner of where the larder prep section was, the wall was about 100 degrees. And I was like, look at that. And I was measuring all the tables to see how I could redesign it. And I took this bench from pastry and I took it over to the larder section. And it was like, playing Tetris as a kid. It's like, oh, look at that. It fits perfectly in that hole. It was designed to go there.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
You found it.
Made me so happy. And there's one at where we're temping. And I keep saying to Aid, look, I don't care what else you move, where you move it. That bench over there used to go on this wall here. Well, how do you know that? Because
it's been cut.
I've measured it.
Yeah.
It was designed for there. It's got a nice 45-degree angle at the front, so it would sort of guide you into this gap. Well, yeah, but instead of it being there, it's now over on the pastry section on the other side of the kitchen because some chefs moved it there at some point in life and gone, I just need a bench. So you've now got a bench with a random 45-degree front-angled corner just because it happens to be there. So we've chucked it over in the pastry section. And instead of having a bench that was purpose-built for that space, you've now got a broken under-counter fridge that you're using as a bench in place of it on the other wall that's big and in the way and you have to walk around. It's mental. But like, just design it properly. It's so annoying. And the pot wash is the same.
And to squeeze past things. I hate the squeezing past crap. I have no idea how the pass could be so close to the wall where waiting staff squeeze in there and it's a one-person walkway in front of the main pass. It just does not make any sense.
And then they've got the blast chiller that is in effectively the dry store. And in order to get, you've got a gastro tray. You can just about get the gastro tray through the door, between the door and the rack, which overlaps the door because it's the wrong size rack for the space. Yeah. And then you get to there, and then you can't fit a gastro tray between the blast chiller door and the door of the dry store. So you've got to tip the gastro tray on a bit of an angle, which, depending on what you're holding in the gastro tray, burns the shit out of you and spills stuff on you. Or you have to rest it on the side of the dry store rack. So this is supposed to be a dry store, and now you're resting. I mean, today I was taking pork bellies out of the oven, and I'm resting some pork belly in a gastro tray on the side of the dry store rack next to the, who knows what was on the dry store rack.
I've left the brulees in there.
Nuts. You have, yeah. Cross-contamination is rife here because you're resting a tray of something you've just cooked on a tray in the dry store, which, by the way, someone's throwing turmeric all over the bloody show and not admitting to it, Paul. And then
that's true.
And then you've got to wedge it in there just to get the thing, and you're like,
"How do you try to blame me?
Why do you not just put it somewhere? Plenty of space in the kitchen. What you could do is take the rack that the bench that's on pastry, put it back where it should be over on the larder section, bin off the broken fridge that's not even a bench in the first place, and it'll give that to pastry to go in there, hold them, put the blast chiller over on that side, which I think they're planning on doing. And, as you can probably tell, it pisses me off.
Yeah, make it work. Look into the design thing, though. I think you should look into that.
Well, I just enjoyed. It's a way of going in, selling the guys the kitchen. Like they said, their RoboCoupe there. I still can't believe they haven't got the greater attachment piece of plastic for the RoboCoupe, and it comes back to broken kit. But it's like, just there's a plancher in that kitchen which apparently works perfectly fine, perfectly functioning plancher, but there's a gap on the source section where the plancher would live. There's a socket there for it to go into. There's a gap it would go straight into, and you could use it. Wonderful, you got a plancher.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't have a table that fit next to over here on the larder section. What should we do about the fact we haven't got a table? Should we put the plancher over there and we'll just use that as a table? Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, we'll put the plancher where a table should be. Okay, great. So now you've got a piece of cooking equipment that you're not using.
As a bench.
And you've got the most underpowered stove imaginable. There's 3 6-burners in that building, and the most underpowered crap one of the lot is on the sauce section. It struggles to boil water. It's terrible. Why is it there? Who knows? There's a sink with a bench, and on top of the bench is a pizza oven, which half straddles the sink and is half on the bench. Isn't under the extraction canopy. It's tight as hell. If you open the oven door, you can't get past it. Why? Who knows? Then you've got the pizza fridge that's there. I mean, I think I've managed to convince AD to see sense in as much as, look at the bigger picture here. You spend more on electricity running the pizza oven than you do earn money through selling pizzas. Why don't you just get rid of the pizza oven, get rid of the pizza prep bench station thing?
Yeah.
Then you'd have a bench there to work on. You'd have less crap on your menu, and you could put my bench that's the right bloody shape back where it should be.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the end of my rant, but kitchen designs, they piss me off.
Cool.
Dessert? Hit me up.
Okay, chef special. I haven't told you anything about this. So
I'm excited. Waiting with bated breath.
So you annoy me.
I know.
On
purpose.
Because when we spoke about before, I said, well, let's do a whole episode at some point on your outside catering thing.
Yep.
And it would help people who are starting their own business, the shortfalls that you've seen, things to overcome, anything that you experience that you've got. Obviously, with pitching to new customers and getting new clientele. And I was thinking, well, maybe we can have a bit of fun with that.
Right.
And we didn't have any emails. And we've called everyone in your Facebook. So I thought, well, it was a special request from my brother. So let's go. I want to call someone. And I thought, well, I need a theme for this. And the theme is we're going to pitch an idea to a customer.
Okay.
A potential customer.
Good.
And get some sales.
Right.
Okay. Now I was thinking, what is going to be revolutionary? I had to come up with an idea. It was not quite chef related, but it is going to help chefs either leaving the industry to go self-employed. Oh my God, I did. To get new clients. And you're going to pitch the idea.
Right.
And I've come up with the idea.
So this is The Apprentice.
This is The Apprentice.
CheckON style.
CheckON style.
Good.
So I'm going to give you the name of the product.
Right.
Now, I remember having a rant at the Fat Pat Bag company we used to use, Simpac. So SYNPAC, isn't it?
They're not called Simpac anymore. They're called something else now.
Oh, good. Well, I don't have to bleep that out.
No.
So I remember having a rant today saying you sound like one of those horror movies where the computers take over the world and they're called Simpac, that kind of thing. So our company is Simpac.
Right.
Okay.
I think it's not called Simpac anymore. We'll check it before you get me sued.
Well, let's just not mention the company name. Let's just mention the product when we call.
Right.
Okay. The product, I've come up with a revolutionary idea. Okay. It's not really chef related, but we're doing this. This is the thought process. Okay.
So lost. Yeah, carry on.
So this is the thought process behind getting new clients, outside catering or whatever.
Yeah.
But obviously, I had to pick something a bit more random. So I've come up with an idea that people may need in their lives. And it is, I've called it hypergalactic AI headrests.
Good.
So your headrests in your car can talk to you, can whisper in your ear, read you a book, all of that. And it's all going to be right next to your head. Yep. So it's going to be very personal, because you can talk to things across the room or in your, that's not very personal if it's right there next to you talking, it could be anything.
Yeah.
So hypergalactic AI headrests, that's our new product. Now I thought I'm going to need to, maybe to help you with your pitch, I'm going to pause this for about 5. You've got 5 minutes to write a quick pitch,
right,
to sell your product. Now, if you want, you can get some bonus items. So if the customer chooses to buy 50 units, you could receive a free George Foreman grill.
Good. Do they still exist?
Actually, should I just reword that so we don't get sued for anything? A Rorge George.
A Rorge George?
A Rorge George grill. 200 units can be
raw foreskin. Raw foreskin grill, right?
From a sweatshop. Yeah. Buy 200 units and get our sunrise Japanese product named Chi-Chi. We'll call it Chi-Chi with detachable groin section for easy washing.
I hope that someone else is following this because I'm so... Yeah, carry on.
Right. So the idea, I want you to teach people how to pitch and how, when they start their outside catering company, all right? But I didn't want to just phone about food again. Let's just have a bit of fun with this.
Right.
We didn't have enough fun at the beginning. So I've
created... It did go a bit dark at the start.
Yeah. So I've created a jingle to get you in the mood.
Oh, God help me.
Now, I thought I only had half an hour while you were downstairs talking to Olive. Mm-hmm. All right? So I did my best.
Right.
So it's a bit of fun backing music I've pinched. And
remember that Sean Connery line from the film The Rock?
Yeah.
The best.
The best.
Losers always moan about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. Sorry. Great film.
So I've got fun backing music mixed with, I tried to do a human voice that's 1,000 years from now so we can sound really futuristic.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Hit me.
Okay, so there's a jingle. Is it all right?
So was that saying hypergalactic AI headrests?
Yeah.
Is that what it was saying?
I'm trying to get it stuck in people's heads.
It was hard to pick up what exactly was being said in it, but it was good. It was lively.
Future, you're not supposed to understand. We don't remember what we talked like 1,000 years ago.
We didn't talk. We weren't born. So we've got the hypergalactic AI headrests.
Yeah.
It's almost as good as saying letters for CheckON@hotmail.com, isn't it?
Yeah. hypergalactic AI headrests.
Right.
We need to come up with, you need to put it in your pitch why they need to buy them.
Right.
And you're going to do a 20-second pitch, I reckon. What do you reckon?
20 seconds. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, you can do that?
I can do a 20
This is on the fly.
I can do a 20-second pitch on the fly.
I found a company that does innovative car design, so we'll leave them an answer phone message. And if they call back with some orders,
right,
we'll have to tell them we've got a jingle as well. If they want to hear it.
We're accredited. We've got a jingle. Our FM went bust, so we've got that guy in doing jingles for us for the intergalactic AI headrests.
So I want you to tell them that we don't have a working product so far, but we do have a jingle.
I have a dream.
So we're hoping that they call back.
Yeah.
For some orders.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the way you come up with a what do they call it? A pitch on the fly like that is how the chefs have got to be when they start their outside catering companies.
Right.
This is a little leap into a future episode that we'll be covering.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So I'm going to pause it, but this is going to be instantaneous for the viewer.
So what's happening here? So I've got
I'm going to get a number. You're going to do a quick pitch, and we're going to phone it, and you're going to pitch it on the answer phone. So when they come into work tomorrow,
right,
they're going to listen to it.
So I'm going to say, "Hi, this is Darren from Intergalactic AI Headrests."
Oh yeah, we can't say Simpac anymore, can we? Because we get sued. Okay.
Phone it.
All right. Wait, you haven't got your pitch yet?
I'll figure it out on the fly. Don't worry about that.
All right, let me pause it while I get the phones ready.
All right.
Okay. So I found Callum Designs.
Good.
They're looking for prototype designers for their new products, or we want to add their new product. Unfortunately, I don't have a phone number, so we're going to have to attach.
I can do an audio pitch. You can attach it as a file to their email and send it.
Yeah.
And we don't want to work for them. We're bigger fish than that. We
So
want to supply them.
You're going to supply them, and then you're going to do a quick jingle in a minute. You're going to do a quick pitch in a second. We'll send that in an email. But that means if I take that pitch, I can then send it to another 30 companies.
You can send it to as many as you want.
I'll send up another 30 companies. I'll set up our Hotmail, our email address, intergalactic AI headrests at hotmail.com. So we look professional and we look serious.
Good.
And then send it to as many companies as we can. And let's see if we get some products sold, or at least the response.
I like it.
All right. You ready?
Hit me.
Do you need the jingle again?
It would get me in the mood. I just got to hold it all together. So what you need here really is a little countdown timer, so I can see how long am I got a time limit on this pitch or what?
How long do you want?
Oh, I'm asking.
This is my design. Yeah.
You choose.
Just chirp it down a little.
If you're telling me I've only got 20 seconds, it's got to be quick and punchy. Whereas if you say I've got time to create,
you've got 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
How long do you want?
I don't know. Do I need a time limit?
1 minute.
Let me run with the pitch, and then
I've got to be able to fit it in an email.
That's what she said.
All right.
Right.
30 seconds then.
All right. Can I have it in a countdown clock so that it does a do 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 boom?
The countdown theme is actually 30 seconds, isn't it?
Should be. Hello, I'm Darren. I'm calling you from Intergalactic AI Headrests. We've got a fantastic new product. I'm a big investor in Build Your Dream, and I think the part of the dream is having the Intergalactic AI Headrests. Picture the scene, you're driving down the road, the missus is giving you jib and the kid's kicking off in the back. The AI headrest hears all these noises, blocks them all out, and it just talks to you nice in your ear and goes, don't worry, they'll be in school soon. The missus will go to work tomorrow. Enjoy your day. AI headrests.
Sounds good to me. Right,
Do you want me to do a longer version, a shorter version? I had to tell them what the product was. I told them that I invest heavily in Bid because, why not? Their stock currently is highest it's been since their inception as a car company.
That's fine.
And Tesla going down the tube has definitely helped them.
Okay, pitch, take two.
I suppose it's the emotion that you're looking for here.
Yeah.
Why do you need the Intergalactic AI headrest? It's not that you need it. I mean, your headrest is there to save your life. I mean, that's what it does. Since the late 90s, it's been compulsory in the back of cars as well as the front. And the front, I don't know when, a long time back. But what this does is it elevates you to being in control of so much more of your world around you. You know, you can talk to it, you can confide in it. You know, when everyone else is asleep in the car, you can chat to it and say, "Tell me nice things."
Yeah.
You know? The new model has actually got 73 cameras placed in it, so it can see what's around it. If it sees somebody, male or female, who looks attractive or they've done their hair nicely, it'll just wolf whistle as you drive down the road on a special speaker system which is outside of the vehicle. If you see the police behind you, it'll just raise the rear wiper arm just to the sort of upward position, just so it looks like the middle finger. It can activate. It's activated ready level 7 to the built-in French tickler seat makeup design. We haven't designed that yet, but when it is designed, then it'll give you that full massage experience, like the ones you get in the motorway service station, but without having to pay a quid, without having to get up. You can just say, you won't even need to say it. It will just recognise that you're a bit stressed, your heart rate's increased. It'll just give you a little rub anywhere you want it. It can tell you short stories, pleasurable stories. It can really transport you to another world, and it takes, I think robotic cars and self-driving cars, they presume we don't want to drive, but we do want to drive. We want to drive with the comfort of the tickler, with the ability to alert the neighbour's dog. You can get these little Chinese things that whistle so that you don't smash into a deer when you're on a back road. Well, this will let them know. It'll talk to them in deer through the outside speaker, and they'll just part ways. It'll be like Moses parting the seas. They will know that the person coming towards them, presumably in a Vauxhall, will be in a car equipped with the latest, what's it called? Intergalactic AI headrest at its disposal. And it sees everything, it hears everything, it feels everything, and you will get home a happier man than you left.
Don't forget email.
So if you can, if you want your car to be up there with the best, you need to invest. This is cutting edge technology. These headrests are ready to go. We've got a warehouse full of them. We've run multiple tests. They tick all the boxes, literally all the boxes. They come in a cardboard box. It's even got a tick on the side of it. That's how great they are. And we've told Teemu to piss off. They can't copy these. They're so good. Teemu don't know what they're doing. They're fully endorsed by ChatGPT. We've run it past it. It says, "Great shout, guys. You're doing well." And if you buy 10,000 units from us, then we will give you the free reach round kit that goes with it. Which they're limited edition. You can only get them by buying 10,000 units. Stalling. Your car wouldn't stall because it would keep you on the straight and narrow, and it would just make driving a pleasurable experience. And if you're speeding, something that the main purpose really why I built it was that years ago when Google Maps everything started on your phones, I said, at some point in life there'll be a supercomputer which will pinpoint where every single car is, because being from the Cornish back roads, they're some of the best roads going for driving like a knob. But there's always the fear that there might be somebody walking, driving the other direction, etc. With the Intergalactic AI headrest, you've got no issue. It tells you in real time where every person in the world is. So if you're on the back road and you're hooning it along, it'll say to you, there's no people on the road for the next mile and a half. Drive like you were given an extra life. Crack on. And you halve your journey times. I mean, you're talking a real life saving here. You're getting home in half the time because of AI, because of the intergalactic AI headrest. It's just guiding you through the journey of life. Meanwhile, telling you erotic stories, everyone else in the car's asleep, and your fuel economy's through the roof. Don't miss this opportunity to invest now in the intergalactic AI headrest. Please contact us on intergalacticaiheadrests@hotmail.com. Thank you for listening.
Okay, that's great.
Good.
So I can get that sent off to multiple companies tomorrow then, and let's see if we can get some units sold.
Brilliant.
I'll get the money off them before the units ever designed.
I didn't tell them the price, did I? I'd say there's not been much about cooking in this podcast.
No, there isn't. We've drifted away from it. We will make that up. And yes, to my brother, we will start calling people next week. Lead us out.
That's it. Lucky 13 for our next episode, so we're going to have to think of some coolish and fun things. I've still got a list as long as my arm of topics to discuss, and we haven't even got on to the fact that we got photographs and emails from a keen beekeeper discussing all things bees and honey from last week, and we got some photos of some lovely wild garlic as well from a keen forager. So lots to discuss. We'll catch up with it next week, and then in a few weeks' time we'll be in the unit in Podcast Corner. Video will be running. And then we'll have the video set up. And then we'll have the kitchen as well, and we can do some cooking stuff. And our 3 listeners and 1 subscriber will be able to enjoy our...
I can't wait.
Lovely. Well, thank you and good night. And don't forget, everybody, as soon as you see the intergalactic AI headrests on the open market, get them while they're going, because they are going to sell like hotcakes.
Night, guys.
Cheerio.